Part 1. The Invitation Setting. A secluded cabin nestled deep within the Blackwood Forest, a place steeped in ancient lore and shrouded in perpetual mist. Date: a crisp autumn evening, October 31st, Halloween. A young woman named Anya stood at the edge of the forest, her heart pounding in her chest. She had received a mysterious invitation, a simple handwritten note, with only her name and the address of the cabin. The sender was unknown, but the invitation was filled with a sense of urgency and foreboding. Anya had always been drawn to the Blackwood Forest, its eerie beauty and the tales of strange occurrences that surrounded it. But something about this invitation felt different. It was as if she were being summoned, drawn towards a destiny she couldn't quite understand. With a deep breath, Anya stepped into the forest. The trees seemed to close in around her, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. The air was thick with the scent of decay and damp earth. A chill ran down her spine as she heard the distant howl of a wolf. As Anya ventured deeper into the forest, she noticed strange markings on the trees. They were ancient symbols, etched into the bark with a sharp instrument. Some were familiar, others completely unknown. Anya felt a sense of unease, as if she were being watched. Finally, after what seemed like hours, Anya reached the cabin. It was a small, wooden structure, nestled among towering pines. A faint light glowed from the windows, casting eerie shadows on the surrounding trees. Hesitantly, Anya knocked on the door. There was no answer. She tried the handle, and to her surprise, it turned. The door creaked open, revealing a dimly lit hallway. Anya stepped inside, her heart pounding in her chest. The cabin was filled with a strange, oppressive silence. The only sound was the faint crackling of a fire in the distance. As she ventured deeper into the cabin, she felt a growing sense of unease. Something was wrong, something very wrong. Anya heard a noise from the living room. She hesitated for a moment, then slowly pushed open the door. The room was bathed in the flickering light of the fire, casting long, dancing shadows on the walls. Sitting by the fireplace was a figure, cloaked in darkness. The figure's face was obscured by the shadows, but Anya could feel its intense gaze fixed upon her. "You have come," the figure said, its voice a chilling whisper. As expected. Part 2. The Watcher. Anya's heart raced as she stared at the cloaked figure. She tried to make out its features, but the shadows were too deep. The figure's voice was cold and distant, as if it came from a great distance. "Who are you?" Anya asked, her voice trembling. The figure did not answer. Instead, it rose from its chair and stepped into the light. Anya gasped. The figure was not human. It was a creature of pure darkness, with glowing red eyes and sharp, jagged teeth. "I am the Watcher," the creature said, its voice echoing through the cabin. "I have been watching you for a long time." Anya felt a wave of fear wash over her. She tried to back away, but her legs felt like lead. The Watcher approached her slowly, its eyes never leaving her face. "You have been chosen," the Watcher said. "You have a destiny to fulfill." Anya's heart pounded in her chest. She didn't understand what the Watcher meant. What destiny could she possibly have? "You must find the lost artifact," the Watcher continued. "It is hidden deep within the forest, guarded by ancient evil. Only you can retrieve it." Anya felt a surge of dread. The lost artifact. What was it? And why was she the one who had to find it? The Watcher reached out and touched Anya's forehead. A wave of strange energy coursed through her, filling her with a sense of purpose and determination. "The artifact is the key to the future," the Watcher said. "It holds the power to save or destroy the world." Anya's mind raced. She knew she had to find the artifact, but she was terrified of what she might encounter. "The Watcher will guide you," the creature said, "but you must be prepared for the dangers that lie ahead." With that, the Watcher vanished, leaving Anya alone in the darkened cabin. As she stood there, trembling, she knew that her life would never be the same again. She had been chosen, and there was no turning back. Part 3. The Lost Artifact. Anya left the cabin, her mind racing. The Watcher's words echoed in her head. "The artifact is the key to the future." She knew she had to find it, no matter the cost. The Watcher had given Anya a map, a strange, ancient parchment covered in symbols and strange markings. The map showed a winding path through the forest, leading to a hidden location deep within the woods. Anya followed the map, her heart pounding in her chest. The forest seemed to grow darker and more sinister as she ventured deeper. Strange creatures lurked in the shadows, their eyes glowing with an unnatural light. As Anya pressed on, she felt a growing sense of unease. The air was thick with an oppressive silence, broken only by the eerie creaking of branches and the distant hoot of an owl. Finally, after what seemed like hours, Anya reached the location marked on the map. It was a small clearing, surrounded by towering trees. In the center of the clearing was a large, moss-covered stone. Anya approached the stone, her heart pounding in her chest. She touched the cold, damp surface, and a strange tingling sensation spread through her body. The stone began to glow, and a hidden compartment revealed itself. Inside the compartment was a small, ornate box. Anya hesitated for a moment, then reached out and opened it. Inside was a glowing crystal, pulsating with a strange, otherworldly energy. Anya knew she had found the lost artifact, but as she held the crystal in her hand, she felt a surge of darkness within her. The crystal seemed to be drawing out the evil that lurked within her, magnifying it 1,000-fold. Anya struggled to resist the darkness, but it was too powerful. She felt herself being pulled into its grasp, her mind clouded by a fog of hatred and despair. Just as Anya was about to succumb to the darkness, she heard a voice. It was the Watcher, calling out to her from the depths of her mind. "Resist," the Watcher shouted. "Fight the darkness." Anya summoned all her strength and fought back against the darkness. She focused on the light within her, the hope that still flickered in her heart. Slowly, the darkness began to recede. Anya felt a sense of peace wash over her as the light within her triumphed over the darkness. The crystal, now calm and serene, emitted a soft, healing glow. Anya held it close to her chest, feeling a sense of hope and determination. She had defeated the darkness, and she was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Part 4. The Dark Lord. With the artifact in her possession, Anya knew she had to return to the Watcher. She had a feeling that the creature knew more about the artifact's power and how to use it. Anya retraced her steps through the forest, the artifact tucked safely in her pocket. The journey was filled with peril, as she encountered a variety of dangerous creatures and obstacles. But Anya was determined, her newfound strength and resolve guiding her through the trials. Finally, she reached the cabin where she had first met the Watcher. The cabin was empty, the fire long extinguished, but Anya knew the Watcher was still there, watching over her. She called out to the Watcher, her voice echoing through the silent cabin. There was no answer. Just when Anya was about to give up, she felt a presence behind her. She turned, her heart pounding in her chest. The Watcher stood in the doorway, its eyes glowing with an unnatural light. "You have returned," the Watcher said, "with the artifact." Anya nodded, her voice trembling. "I need your help. I don't understand the artifact's power." The Watcher smiled, a chilling, inhuman smile. The artifact is a key, Anya, a key to a world beyond your imagination. Anya's heart raced. What did the Watcher mean? The artifact can be used for great good or great evil, the Watcher continued. It depends on the wielder. Anya felt a surge of fear. She knew the artifact was powerful, but she didn't want to use it for evil. There is a dark force rising, the Watcher said, a force that seeks to control the world. Only you can stop it. Anya's mind raced. She knew she had to do something. She had to protect the world from the darkness. The artifact will grant you the power you need, the Watcher said, but you must be prepared for the consequences. Anya nodded, her resolve hardening. She was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. She would use the artifact for good, to protect the world from the darkness. With that, the Watcher vanished, leaving Anya alone in the cabin. She held the artifact in her hand, feeling its power pulsing through her. She knew that her destiny was sealed. She was the one who would decide the fate of the world. Part 5. The Dark Lord's Return. Anya left the cabin, the artifact tucked safely in her pocket. She knew she had to find the Dark Lord, the evil force that threatened the world. The Watcher had given her a vague location, a hidden fortress deep within the Forbidden Mountains. The journey was treacherous, filled with dangerous creatures and treacherous terrain. Anya faced countless challenges, but she pressed on, driven by a sense of purpose. Finally, she reached the Forbidden Mountains. The mountains were shrouded in mist, their peaks lost in the clouds. Anya knew the Dark Lord's fortress was somewhere within these mountains, but she had no idea where. As Anya ventured deeper into the mountains, she felt a growing sense of darkness. The air was heavy with an oppressive silence, broken only by the eerie howling of the wind. Finally, she reached the fortress. It was a massive, imposing structure built into the side of a cliff. The fortress was surrounded by a moat filled with a dark, swirling liquid. Anya knew she had to find a way to cross the moat. She searched the area, but there was no obvious way in. Just when she was about to give up, she noticed a hidden passage carved into the cliff face. Anya followed the passage, her heart pounding in her chest. The passage was dark and narrow, filled with the stench of decay. Finally, she reached the other side of the moat. The fortress was guarded by a legion of demonic creatures. Anya knew she had to fight her way through them to reach the Dark Lord. She drew her sword, a blade forged in the heart of a volcano, and charged into the fray. The battle was fierce and brutal. Anya fought with all her might, her sword flashing in the darkness. She managed to defeat several of the demons, but there were too many. Just when it seemed that Anya was overwhelmed, she remembered the artifact. She held it up, and the crystal began to glow with a blinding light. The light blinded the demons, and they retreated in fear. Anya pressed on, her way now clear. She reached the heart of the fortress, a massive chamber filled with dark energy. In the center of the chamber was a throne, and sitting on it was the Dark Lord. The Dark Lord was a monstrous creature, with glowing red eyes and razor-sharp teeth. He raised his hand, and a wave of dark energy surged towards Anya. Anya raised the artifact, and the crystal began to glow even brighter. She unleashed a powerful blast of light, striking the Dark Lord. The Dark Lord was thrown from his throne, his form contorting in pain. Anya rushed forward, her sword raised. She struck the Dark Lord again and again, until finally he was defeated. The Dark Lord let out a final agonized scream, then fell to the ground, dead. With the defeat of the Dark Lord, the darkness that had threatened the world was vanquished. Anya had triumphed, saving the world from destruction. Part 6. A New Dawn. With the defeat of the Dark Lord, a new dawn was breaking. The darkness that had shrouded the world was lifted, revealing a world bathed in light. Anya returned to her village, a hero hailed by all. She was greeted with cheers and celebrations as the people rejoiced in their newfound freedom. But Anya knew that her work was far from over. The world was still a fragile place, and there were many challenges ahead. She dedicated herself to rebuilding the shattered villages, restoring the land, and spreading hope throughout the land. Anya also used her powers to teach others, sharing her knowledge and wisdom. She trained a new generation of warriors, preparing them to defend the world from future threats. As time passed, Anya became a legend, her name whispered in awe and admiration. She was a symbol of hope, a beacon of light in a world that had once been consumed by darkness. And so, Anya's story came to an end. She had faced countless challenges, overcome countless obstacles, and saved the world from destruction. Her legacy would live on for generations to come, a testament to the power of courage, hope, and the enduring spirit of the human heart.